Well, good day, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in internet land. We are back with another edition of Meet the Drivers for eSeniors GT3 World Championships. And today we have a wonderful guest because he is a wonderful sponsor of ours. And let me just get
Drum
his face
roll.
up. Yeah, drum rolls, right? There we go. Here,
Drum
Mr.
roll.
Dimitri Stathis. You have
Hey,
heard his name before. You've
me.
seen his company name up there quite a few times. So hi, Dimitri.
Hey, Mike. How you guys doing?
We won't tell everybody that we've
Hello,
been
we
talking for
seniors
about.
around the world.
Yeah, right. Won't tell
Or
everybody we've been
female
talking for a
seniors.
while, and we were talking literally into the Ethernet because I forgot to hit the start stream key. But anyway, yeah. So Dimitri is our Syndeo wonderful sponsor. We'll talk about that in a bit. But he is from Montreal, and let me get my usual Montreal map up on the screen. There we are. That is the island of Montreal, and it is an island, barely, right? It is,
Barely,
yeah,
yes.
barely because
It is surrounded by water.
it's surrounded by water,
Just
exactly,
enough
but
water.
just like a little river, so to speak. But
Just enough water so we can call it an island.
that's
And we
correct.
can say we live in the islands.
Well, plus,
Someone asks me, where
plus,
do you live? I'll say I live in the islands.
yeah. Well, it just makes it a pain in the ass because you still have to go through bridges or go over bridges to get into the town from the suburbs. Yeah,
Yeah,
so there's Montreal for
that's
those
a
of you.
challenge.
Yeah, there's a view. Montreal is in the eastern part of Canada, in the province of Quebec. There's where it is. There's where it is in the world. I'm sure many people know where it is. It's a famous city. So yes, growing up in Montreal, what was that like?
God, I'm so old, I can't remember now. So, um, well, I grew up in Montreal. I was born in Montreal and lived the first 11 years of my life in Montreal in a Greek community called Park Extension.
Cool.
I lived there because, given my name, you could probably surmise that I'm of Greek origin. So my parents immigrated to Montreal in the I guess early 60s, and I was born in 66, which would make me how old, Mike?
I know exactly because I was born in '56. So you're
Ah, well, there
57.
you go. Then just
Easy math. Easy
and there
math.
you go. Exactly. That would make me 57. So I qualified to be racing with these seniors. Just barely, though.
Yeah, we were talking.
Um,
We were talking that Montreal is kind of the New York of Canada because a lot of immigrants ended up staying or coming at least coming through Montreal. Most immigrants back in the day when people were leaving
Indeed.
their home countries. Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the 50s and 60s, North America in general, so Canada and the US required a lot of workers to help build the economy after, a lot of effort and people had been I guess impacted by the Second World War. So a lot of immigrants were coming from Europe, primarily Italy, Greece, Portugal, and probably even from some of the northern countries too. And a lot of them came through Montreal because most of them came by boat. Boats would typically dock in Halifax, and people would be put on trains and sent west. And first major city to hit along the seaway at the time through the train tracks was Montreal. A lot of people stayed here, and others went over to Toronto. Montreal back in those days was the largest city in Montreal.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Things have changed over the years, and now Toronto is by far way bigger than Montreal. But yeah, back then we had the I guess the
Status.
thing of being the status of being the largest city in Montreal in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were saying you grew up in the Greek part of town, so all these immigrants typically, stayed with a brother or sister or somebody they knew, and then they just ended up living in the same neighborhood. So you end up with Italians, Greeks, all in little parts, the corners of these towns that are famous for immigrant arrivals, right?
Indeed, yeah. It's kind of like how it is in other big cities around the world. You have your Greek town and your little Italy and your Chinatown and your little Korea and whatever. So back in the days, Greek town was where I grew up. Now Greeks have kind of spread out, so you can't really say that there is a specific place called Greek town anymore. But
Yeah, yeah.
Toronto there is, but not as much in
Not as much in
Montreal
Montreal.
anymore.
And your parents,
Yeah.
did they come over? They were the first generation, or?
They're first generation immigrants.
Oh yeah.
So my mom came first. She came to Canada in the early 60s with her younger sister, just the two of them on the boat.
Wow, that's cool.
And about 6 years later, my mom went to Greece for one summer. She met my dad, got engaged, got married, all within 3 months.
Oh wow.
And then she came back and invited my dad. And my dad said, my dad was a police officer in Athens, Greece at the time, and he quit his job and he said, "Okay, I'm going to go to Canada, but I'm going just for 10 years and I'm coming back."
Oh.
And he stayed for 11 years, and then he went back. And so in 1977, they decided to move back to Greece. And given that I was only 11 at the time, I didn't really have a choice. I went back with them. And I spent the next 12 years of my life in Athens, Greece. And that's where I did all my schooling. So all my high school and university or undergrad, I did it
Oh yeah.
in Athens, Greece.
They didn't come back
Yeah.
though. They're still there. They're still there.
Yep. Yeah. My dad passed away last year, but my
Ah,
mom
that's
is
bad.
still there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Did they ever get immigration status? Could they have come back? Did they have immigration status for Canada? Like you were born here, so you're
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. They were. Yeah. I was born
Landed
here, so,
immigrants, yeah.
So they were. Yeah. Landed immigrants.
We call them landed immigrants in Canada. Yeah.
Landed immigrants. Yeah.
How old's your mom? How old's your,
dual?
how old's your mom?
90.
90. Oh wow, she's still in good health.
She turned 90 this year. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's in good health. So live by herself now. Fortunately, I have someone that lives with her and takes care of her because I'm here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so she's alone there, but yeah, she's good.
So
Taking care of herself.
what was it like growing up in Greece then? You're like a kid and then through teenage years.
Yeah, I mean, Greece at the time, I was there in the I guess late 70s and 80s. Economy in Greece wasn't that great at the time.
No.
I was in a, I guess what you would call a lower class worker type family, so it was basically, living, basically day to day, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
not much in terms of fun stuff. Living in the outskirts of Athens, and tried to have as much fun as I could as a kid at the time. And then it kind of changed a little bit when I went to university because I spoke fluent English, haven't been kind of educated my first few years here in Canada. So I spoke English and a little bit of French, but English fluently. And so for university, I went to an American school that was based out of Greece. It's called the American College of Greece. And there I got exposed to an international Greek/international community of students like myself that had some kind of tied to Greece, but also some kind of
Somewhere
tied
else.
to,
Yeah. Somewhere else.
from elsewhere. Yeah. So there were people from all over Europe, Asia, the States, Canada, and so on. So I got to meet a lot of people. And then after I finished my university, I came to Canada.
Okay, before you go though,
Uh,
how did you pay for? What was it like to get? Was it expensive to go to that university? How did you get that through?
Yeah, that was actually a private school, and whereas university in Greece is free.
It is. I was
It's a
going to ask that. Yeah.
publicly sponsored system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that school was actually free. But so I was able to get financial assistance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, cool.
I worked at the university also, so I was able to pay my way that way. So it was fun because my parents couldn't afford to send me to a
Yeah.
private university.
Wow. Cool.
I was able.
Because I think I'm going to
So-
start asking a new question for everybody. What was your first few jobs? Everybody probably has great, interesting new first jobs.
First few jobs. So when I came from Greece, I had studied business in Greece, and my initial plan here was to do an MBA. But I wasn't able to get into an MBA school because they required work experience, and
Oh, yeah.
at least 2 years of work experience to be able to do an MBA. So the next best thing for me was to do accounting. So I did an accounting designation. So I'm actually a professional accountant by education, but not by trade anymore. I only did about a couple of years of that. So being an accountant, the first real jobs I did were actually accounting. So I was
Oh
doing
yeah.
I was an accounting clerk and for small business, and then I worked at a large accounting firm. I worked at Deloitte at the time.
Oh yeah.
And then after a couple of years of doing that, I said, no, this is not for me. I don't
Well,
want to be
if,
an accountant.
plus
This
as
is,
a
way too boring.
yeah, yeah. Plus
As you can
as a
tell, from my
as a new
sparkling personality, I'm not an accountant type of guy, right?
well,
So,
obviously, and those big firms, it's just a grist mill for the first few years, right?
yeah,
That's enough to
exactly.
turn anybody off.
And so I got into, all kinds of other, businesses at the time. And
Yeah.
then after a few years, I got into telecom. And I spent about 25 years or so in telecom so far.
Yeah. Well,
And
tell us a
then
little bit about
ultimately led to what I'm doing now.
yeah, yeah. Tell us a little bit about Syndeo then.
Yeah, so in my early days, I started with a number of larger telecom companies doing primarily sales, marketing, and general management. Uh, and after many years of doing that, I left the large corporations and I started my own little small business providing uh, telecommunication services for business. I had started a business with a partner. And after a few years of running that business, we sold it to one of our technology partners at the time, and then I joined them to run that sort of division for them. But then after a couple of years of doing that, I said, no, I don't want to work for anybody again. I don't want to boss over my head. And I had discovered a new way of selling or making services like this available to businesses, which is the, I guess, brokerage businesses, which I'm doing now. I found it starting to become popular in the US, so in Canada. So I decided to start my own consulting slash brokerage business. So essentially, what I do is the same thing as an insurance broker would do in terms of finding you the proper insurance coverage for yourself or
Yeah,
your
yeah,
business. I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
do the same thing, but I don't sell insurance. I sell communications and technology services for business. I help businesses find these services for themselves. So
Yeah, because most people don't want that headache. They're not in the telecommunication business. They just want they just want it
yeah,
to be seamless, etc. And then they don't know anything about it. So you're the guy who puts all that together for them, I guess.
yeah, exactly. Because the average business will just if they need something, they'll pick up the phone or they'll go on the internet and they'll look at who are the one or two biggest providers that they know of for the type of service that they're looking for. But there's dozens and dozens, hundreds, in fact, of providers out there, and I work with a lot of them, so I can bring a lot of different expertise and knowledge of the market and help them get the best deals also.
I'm not ignoring you here. I just noticed we have a couple people online, so I can tell them they can ask you questions, or maybe they'll ask you a technical question. I think we got Paulo Noves on the line watching.
Paulo from Portugal.
Yes, right. That's right.
Nice.
He's up late.
Well, maybe I'll reach out to Paulo because I'm actually thinking of going to Portugal this summer. So
Oh, there you
he,
go.
uh, he might be
Well,
giving me some hints on where to go.
yeah, yeah. Well, while I was waiting for the call here, I typed in that my itinerary for the UK because I'm hoping to meet a few guys over some beers next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll be looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Andy Lees, who we
Excellent.
know doesn't race with us much anymore, he is committed to meeting me in Edinburgh, so that's going to be fun. Can't wait.
Well, tell Andy to get back and racing with
I
us.
know, I know. He's racing. I don't know if you got on his old man Sims racing site recently. You know what he's racing? I'm not sure if it's
No?
iRacing or something else. He's racing minis, Austin
Oh,
minis.
neat.
Yeah, yeah. You got to go
Cool.
on his site and look that up. That's hilarious.
Well,
Anyway,
you were able to race all kinds of cars like that with Assetto Corsa, the original.
right.
And I just read today that the new version of Assetto Corsa is supposed to be coming out later this
Sometime,
year. They
yeah.
call it Assetto Corsa Evo.
Evo, they put out their first little
Yeah,
little trailer, I guess. Not a trailer, but a
yeah,
little idea. That's going to be great. I'm hoping that wouldn't it be great if they were able to keep all
that should
those
be
mods?
cool. Yeah, and I'm hearing that the technology that they're going to be implementing this on is going to be really cool and going to be really very realistic, even more than a Assetto Corsa Competizione
Oh
apparently.
yeah,
So,
and I'm hoping they allow
and if
either
they
they.
open it up to developers,
Yeah.
like third parties that have developed all kinds of different cars and tracks and so on for the original Assetto Corsa, that'd be cool.
Wouldn't it be cool if the ones that are already developed were integratable? That'd be amazing.
That would be nice
They'd
also,
be
yeah.
they'd be smart if they did that. They'll make a mint. They'll make a mint because I mean, how old is this?
That's actually how I started, right? And probably most of us started with Assetto Corsa. Do you have those pictures of my rig that
Yes, I do. I'll bring them up in a second. But
I sent you?
I,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I will. I started with project cars, which was similar
Oh, project cars. Okay.
until
Yeah.
remember when they came up with project, and I bought one and I bought two, and then I'm going, oh, I'm all excited about Project Cars 3, and they totally effed it up, didn't they? It was an awful game. Oh, it
Did
was
they? Yeah.
terrible. Oh man, it was
I
a
never
mess.
played that one.
Oh, you would have wasted your money on that one. Everybody got pissed off. So that's how I found Setta
I
Corsa.
tried all the other ones. I tried Automobilista
Yeah.
and Assetto Corsa and of course F1, all of those, and none of them have that same, for me at least, the same,
No,
overall realism and the whole gameplay and the leagues
the
and
leagues
all of that
especially.
that
Yeah,
ACC
yeah,
has.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's. That was a good segue. I'll throw up your first racing rig. You won't see it for. Oh, you don't have it. You don't have the internet there. So your first picture you sent us was your first rig, and you started like I did, or many of us started with an IKEA lounger.
Yep. With my IKEA Poang chair and in front of my plasma TV in the basement with a what is it, a Thrustmaster wheel and pedals.
An
And in
Xbox.
fact, I had to put, and the Xbox, yes, yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
have a
yeah.
PC at the time. And actually, I had to put, you don't see it in the picture, but behind my chair, I had to put a whole bunch of books to kind of jam the back part of the chair against the wall, so that when I hit the brakes, when I pressed the brakes, the chair wasn't sliding carpet.
Well, yeah, but
Start
a real man would have
the rig
screwed it
doing
into
that.
the wood floor, buddy.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, that would have been a little problem with the significant other here. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
then, now I'll bring up the other one. So rig 2, here is your current rig, I guess. There, what with did you build that one yourself from the?
Yeah, it's aluminum profile.
Yeah, you bought the
Yeah,
profiles
so
and did it
that
yourself. Yeah.
one, yeah, because this was definitely not a very a solid rig. I decided to build this aluminum profile. So I started doing some research online, and I had seen all these companies. I'm trying to remember their name of the companies now that sell these packaged rigs,
Yeah.
and I found some of these designs, but instead of ordering it from them and paying full price, I basically copied them, and I went to a local aluminum profile supplier here and I
Yeah.
gave them all the measurements. I designed it all myself on one of these like 3D tools there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I had them cut all the stuff, and I put it together myself. So that's basically two big pieces. So there's the big one that holds the seat and the wheel and pedals, and then I figured, okay, I might as well go with the three screen instead of the one screen. So I built another platform, basically stand to hold the three monitors, and they're on swivel, so I can open them up, and it's kind of like I
Oh
can
yeah. Okay.
open up the left side monitor, so it looks like I'm opening the door to get in the car.
Oh yeah. But that worked out pretty good. Was it an actual plan, or did you kind of look at it and say, "This is roughly what I'm going to have to build"?
No, it was an actual plan. I actually made it a little bit wider
Yeah.
because I think if you put up the next picture,
Okay.
you'll see that that's when I changed my wheel. Also, I got an actual direct drive wheel and the Hussenfeld feld pedals
Pedals.
there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I got one of
But
the colored pictures up there now. Yeah.
is it up there now? I
Yeah.
can't see it.
Oh, you got
But,
the same button boxes I have on mine. They're the Porsche one.
actually, oh yeah, you mean the wheel
The wheel
itself?
button box. Yeah. The wheel
The
endurance.
actual, yeah. Yeah, I had that. That's not the current one I'm using right now.
Oh yeah,
I
okay.
have the little F1 Fanatec one now. But I don't know if you can see it on the left side and the right. I had also made this rig adjustable so that when I'm not sim racing, I could bring forward my what's it called? Flight simulator controls.
On the right
So I
or
have a
what side?
yeah, I don't know if you could see it there.
I'm trying to zoom in
On
a
both
little.
sides, it's just basically right under the screen. I don't know if you can see it,
Try to move it a
or
little
maybe
bit
it's not
there.
the same
Oh, I
picture,
see
but
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's kind of an arm there.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So like in front of the speakers on both sides
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Yeah.
I had created another two panels where I could put the throttle and the joystick because I was doing a flight simulator at the time. So I said, hey, might as well make it so I could do more than one thing. But then flight simulation was really too boring for me.
Oh,
So
I know.
I
I know.
was playing flight simulator, like waiting there for hours to go from one airport to the other and like
Yeah.
land, crash half the time. It's like, yeah, no, this is no fun. So I took all that stuff off now. So now it's a pure sim rig there. So.
You still have the shifter though. You use the shifter much?
Nope, I took it off. I actually sold it. I don't
Ah.
use a
Okay.
shifter.
Yeah.
I don't do any rallying or any of that stuff there. I even took off the clutch because I had the clutch pedal there,
Yeah.
and I only just use the the brake and the throttle. So, but yeah, just pure ACC. I don't do anything else now.
The so yeah. So
People
you're
tried to get me into doing other sports, but
yeah. You're into your third generation of stuff, right? Most of
yeah,
us.
pretty much.
Most of us go through three generations, but like I always tell my wife, I can always sell it for at least 50% of what I paid for it, so that's not so bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at the the used market on Facebook, and
Yeah,
they kind of hold their value. I was kind of lucky to get into building this rig right before the pandemic started. I had just bought the Thrustmaster kit there with the pedals and
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and I started saying, okay, I got to build this rig, and that's just really just before the pandemic hit. I had built it, and then the guy who I bought this from, he had my number and he kept calling me saying, all these people are calling me because they want to build these rigs.
Oh, is that
Can you
right?
send
Yeah,
me the
yeah.
plan that you used and everything? So yeah, and then it just went crazy, and then you just couldn't find
You
these
couldn't. I
anymore.
know.
Like he
I'm.
was selling more because he sold all kinds of stuff, and he was selling more sim rigs than anything
Is
else
that right?
for his profile.
Okay, I was the same.
Yeah,
I got into it
yeah,
maybe a little bit, just a little bit later than you and I. It was when the new graphics, NVIDIA graphics cards came out, so I had to wait forever for a decent card for the PC I was building. But oh yeah, I
yeah.
think I got the last Thrustmaster load cell pedals around. I went all over the place looking for them, and finally found some on the internet that was.
Yeah, they didn't have load cell at the time, the
Oh,
Thrustmaster.
that's true.
That's
No, it
why I
was the
went
wheel I had a
to
hard time for.
do.
It was a wheel. I think I got the
Yeah.
last one in Canada or some freaking thing. But
And
there's a
that's how I got into eSeniors also. I think it was Jeremy that had reached out to me on Facebook,
uh-huh.
and he invited me to join the Facebook group, and then that's how I got exposed to that. And I was actually one of the founding members. I was
Were you?
in the first race ever,
Oh, there you go.
Brands Hatch. I think it was the first race Brand Hatch,
Brand Hatch. Oh my
and
God, that could have turned
Brands
everybody off
Hatch,
right there.
first official race. Yeah, it was fun. I remember clearly. Jonathan Wood hit me from behind at what's the first corner there or the second one there at Brand Hatch, and he kind of spun me, and then but I got back into it, and back then I was faster than him
Wow.
because he wasn't very good at all at the time, but now he kind of became an alien, and he's kind of disappeared too, but he's going to come back.
Well, I have a picture of your livery, actually, your current livery. Your
Which one? I've been
well,
changing
it's the
liveries.
Ferrari one with the pinkish.
I the Ferrari.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah. That was Nico that made that for me,
was
and
it?
yeah. Nico has made all my liveries except for the first one I made myself, but it took me a while to do it. He kind of gave me some tips,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but then he's been doing my stuff.
Your
I wanted, I had made a livery that was kind of like it was pretty standard livery. But then I was looking at it from, the Helicam, and it's like, I can't tell my car apart. So it's like, what can I use so that when you look at my car, you could tell from far away that, oh, that's Dimitri's car. So it's like I found this design, which was, I think it was a screensaver from a Samsung phone. And he took that and he just basically put it on top of the car. And that's why it's basically like somebody spilled a whole bunch of paint on the car.
Yeah,
You can tell from far away that it's my car.
well, it helps us as streamers, that's for sure, because it is hard to tell somebody apart
Yep.
sometimes. Yeah, the is that the one? Is that the livery you're using this year? This pink one, pinkish.
For the Ferrari, yes. I keep trying to go back to the Mercedes, which was a car that I'd used early on, but I just cannot tame that car. It just for some reason, last year, right before the new update that they made that changed all the bops,
Yeah.
I was getting good in the Mercedes, and then they changed the bop again, and it completely screwed it up for me. So I'm trying again in the sprint on the Mondays. I'm going to be racing the Mercedes, which I did at Paul Ricard this week. Very good. So on the Saturdays, I'm going to go back to
Oh, you're
the
like me.
Ferrari.
I did the opposite. I went. I'm going to do Ferrari on Mondays and go back to my BMW on Saturdays because I can actually reproduce
Oh, yeah.
my times in a BMW. But it's funny how.
Well, that's it. I'm a good second faster in the Ferrari than I am in the Mercedes. So I don't know.
It's
I
funny
mean,
how.
at Paul Ricard, for sure, it's a little bit faster on the straight, but I just can control the car a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny. You go back to a car that you raced before, and you've progressed as a driver. So it's funny how it's different. Like you say, you're going to be doing the Mercedes again. I bet you'll get better at the Mercedes because you're probably a better driver than you were the last time you used it.
I hope so because I really like that car. I like how it sounds. I like how it looks. And in certain tracks, I can do pretty well in it, but in others, I can't. So, whereas the Ferrari, it's kind of general. I'm kind of more at the same level versus other drivers in the Ferrari. But with the Mercedes, in some tracks, I'm good, and some others, I fall way back, and I just don't know it well enough. So.
Oh yeah, guys
And
on this.
I'm not good enough to be able to adapt well from one car to the other.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they're different, man. They handle different. Geez, this week in at Paul Ricard, the Ferrari was the first time I'd raced with it in at Paul Ricard. I couldn't get that high speed corner
Yeah.
with the Ferrari. I had to really let up.
Oh, really?
Whereas the BMW, I can take it at full speed. It's
Well,
kind of weird.
that's the setup, though, because I have
Yeah.
two setups in the Ferrari, and
Yeah.
on one of them I could take it, and on the other one, as soon as I lift off and turn, it wants to kill me. So
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly the
change
same.
the
Yeah, I
setup.
must have that same setup. I didn't have time to fool around with it too much. Guys on the stream, I see Peter David's there and Paulo's there, and Paulo asked a question. But I'll get to the question just before we finish. So if you want to ask a question or two of Dimitri, we'll get to it near the end. What was I going to say? So yeah, so you're founding member. That's pretty cool. And you notice more than most how different people have progressed racing wise. Hey, it's just amazing who's up the top of the
Yeah,
ladder now.
absolutely. Like I said, at the early days, of course there was, myself and Jeremy and Michel Benchaya was there, and he's been racing, I think, only the sprint races now. Jonathan Wood was there, and who else? I'm trying to remember who are all the original names, but um,
I was joking with who did I interview last week? Our friend from Macedonia. Why can't I think of his name right now?
no, Mircea.
Mircea. I said, Mircea. I remember
Yeah.
when I first started racing with you guys, I was afraid of you when you came up from behind, or used to make fun that you couldn't finish a race. But now look at you. He's in. I know you noticed he got another
Yeah.
podium there a couple of days ago.
Well, it's definitely gotten a lot better for sure. I mean, people learn, people kind of adapt, and then, it's very different than racing those kind of join up leagues on
Yeah.
ACC where
Yeah.
you could just go race any night there. You don't know anybody, and everybody kind of like acts like idiots there. But over the time, and with a lot of gentle persuasion from Jeremy and his, pre-race calls. Hello, gentlemen. He gets everybody, doing the right thing.
You always been interested in cars,
I've
though?
been,
Are you a car guy?
yeah, I've always been interested in cars. Never, I've never invested in any kind of, vehicle like sports car.
Yeah.
I guess the closest they could get to that was Volkswagen GTI, which I had two of them.
Oh, fun to drive those things, though. They're fun.
So yeah, those are great to drive. I still miss it. I
You're
guess
not.
I
You're
drive a Volkswagen now, but it's not GTI.
you're only 57. You're not old enough to have that a midlife crisis that you got to go out and buy a Corvette or something like the American guys do.
I've kind of split up my midlife crisis into many different hobbies. Some people just put it all into one. I do a little bit of everything. So, besides sim racing, I do photography, I do fishing, I do biking, I like cooking, I do um, audio stuff like home stereo
Oh yeah,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
audiophile music stuff. So, a little bit of everything, kind of try to keep me occupied when I'm not just doing one thing. Because
Yeah,
if you put all your money in a car, then what do you do when you're not racing?
yeah, yeah,
When you're
yeah.
not driving.
But if you had for a
A little bit of
driver
everything.
a fancy driver car, what would you get if you had if you get the Inkling Mercedes? Come on, you
Fancy?
gotta say Mercedes.
No. I'd say my kind of go-to car right now, if I were to say, okay, I'm going to put a lot of money in a car, would be a 911 Targa.
Oh yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's kind of my, it's more of a cruiser kind of car, but it's got the grunt
Are you a tall guy?
to be able to do some
Are
damage.
you tall? I hear the Porsches are not great for tall guys.
Well, that's why you get the Targa, right? Because you could just lift the roof,
Oh,
takes off the roof, and that's it. No, I'm only 6'1",
oh,
so I,
okay.
I would fit in a Porsche.
It'd be okay.
Would be no problem.
All right. So what do we got on the screen here? Paulo was asking, are your screens 32? 32 inch?
27.
27s, 327s.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Peter has a very deep question. Peter David,
Oh no.
a Montrealer. So he's asking,
Peter is one of the guys, one of the drivers that has advanced significantly. Like he went from, a complete beginner to right now well, I want to see him more on track, but he's really good. So
yeah, no, that's right. He's my
he's got
he's
much
my
more
target.
stuff.
I want to get better than him. But he practices a lot. He does a
Yeah,
lot. He worked a lot at in the last year and a half. That's why he's way better.
absolutely.
He's asking what your favorite beer is.
Absolutely. He's my favorite beer. Well, lately I've been drinking a lot of Guinness.
Oh yeah?
No, yeah, my go-to beer has been all kinds of IPAs. So I like these microbreweries,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the darker and the hoppier, the better. But lately I'm on a Guinness, stint. I've been drinking a lot of Guinness. So
Oh yeah. You
not a lot, but when I do drink, I drink Guinness. So.
Paulo has given you an idea, given you a suggestion for when you visit Superbach is the best.
Superbock?
Yeah, Superbach. That sounds dark
Oh
too.
yes, yes, the beer in Portugal.
Is that a dark beer?
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, I think it's a blonde.
Okay. Oh, I see Jeremy
It's a
just
blonde.
joined us.
I
Good
saw a
afternoon,
picture.
Jeremy. We got the boss on now. We have to clean it up.
Uh-oh. Be nice, guys. Be nice.
We're almost done. Yeah. I think anything else you can see to add? I mean, the club's going great. I mean, things are just amazing. I mean, the only thing we got to do is get our Friday team a little bit higher up. I see we only have 12 guys signed up for GT2 again. With 12 guys would be perfect. I mean, the guys that were racing on Fridays were pretty loyal to it. So there was always at least 10. So yeah, usually they were pretty fun races. But it'd be nice to get something big time going
Yeah,
on Fridays.
I'm hoping that we can get some GT4 guys. Yeah, 'cause I used to love racing those GT4s. They're not fast, but man, are they fun to drive. So put some comments down below, as they say. All these YouTubers say, like and subscribe and put your comments down below. But what you'd like to see more than what we're doing today, and what days you would drive,
Yeah, that's
'cause,
true.
we
Yeah.
have the Friday, but 10, 12, 13 drivers, it's good, but it'd be great if we had, in the mid 20s or so. So,
Well, the other thing we've always talked about
and then,
admin-wise, you're on the admin team also, as you know, as people know,
yeah.
whether we could get something going on North American evening times, even something unofficial that would get a bunch of us just actual racing with real people instead of just practicing all week.
Yeah.
So that's an idea. So
Yeah,
Peter's
absolutely.
asking, what is Peter
And now
asking?
we've got the green hell now, right? So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I tried it a couple of times, and man, that track is. Oh, I understand why they call it the green hell.
Well, there's four. Here, I'll give you a hint.
I've been watching.
There's four corners. You have to make sure you memorize where they are because they're nasty. They sneak up on you, and almost everybody crashes on those four. But after that, it's just like go with the
Mhm.
flow. Go with the flow.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, I don't know how these people drive their cars full out on that track. I would be like,
I know. Eh?
like I watch these YouTube videos of people taking their car on it, and God, oh my God, they're gonna crash. They're gonna kill themselves.
Well,
And of course, there's many accidents at the
and,
race life all the time, but
yeah, yeah. And even if you take it easy, somebody zooms in behind you.
yeah, that's it. And you see these kind of quote unquote pros, and they just that's these guys that are trying to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
I'd be spending most of my time looking in my rearview mirror, as opposed to enjoying the track. But hey,
Okay, so
they enjoy it.
Jeremy's asking because he knows you. How many speeding tickets you? How often you get a speeding ticket?
I know why he's asking that because I was meeting him for lunch one day. That was last summer, I think, and I was late, so I was kind of going a little bit faster than I should have on the highway. I got stopped, and I got a nice little speeding ticket. But hey, I don't get that many, so
We have
that was the first one I'd had in a while, so I'm
we
good.
we have photo radar in Edmonton, so I've got lots of money invested, but not actual speeding tickets that count on your driver's license.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah, they
see.
don't count for
But we
points.
have photo radar too, but it's only in very, very few spots, and they have to notify you well in advance that there's a photo radar. So you know that it's there, and you just slow down.
Yeah, we have.
You guys, it's they're all over the
Oh
place,
yeah, they're all
and
over. They're in
you don't know
cars.
that
They're in
it's there.
trucks. They're all over the place. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay. No, we don't have that. So
And I never pay
we're more
attention.
liberal here in Quebec.
Yeah. Enough. Tell me about it. All right. Well, that's we've been on for quite a while now. It's great talking to you. Great seeing for people to see your face.
Hey, thanks.
We've met, but we'll see you again this summer. I probably spend some time in Montreal this summer again. So we'll have to
Yes,
we'll
thanks
have to
for
get
having me
together.
on, and I'm going to put out a challenge to two people to be on next. Okay, two people that I want to see next. One is our elusive Nikos Margaritis. We have to see him. And the other one is Peter David.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Very good. The challenge.
challenge
Interview challenge. All right.
has been put down.
Well, Peter's
Exactly.
listening, so Peter, let's go.
Oh no, he's saying, why did you do that to me, Dimitri?
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Dimitri. We'll cut it
Thanks,
off
Mike.
there, and it's great seeing you. Thanks for the discussion. Nice to get to know you better. All right, bye
Okay,
everyone.
guys.
We'll see you next
Yeah.
interview next days on the track.